Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today we're going to talk about motivation, meditation, and inspiration. If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. So let's go ahead and start looking at how we can do that 60 minutes set. So let's go ahead and start looking at how we could put ourselves in a way that what is coming out from within ourselves is positivity. Are we giving ourselves the ability to start our day in a positive way, that the angles that we utilize could see the views that other people may have as well? So as we grow together, as we reflect outwards, we start to understand each other and our own thought process starts to get down to ourselves and what we do have and never about what we don't have. So have you asked yourself this type of question? Is it if it's not about motivation, then what is it? If it's not about meditation, what is it? If it's not about inspiration, what is it? And so when we start looking at these things, as we start to get ourselves in that place where what is the reflection on the outside is actually coming from our positivity. It's coming from our ability to go within ourselves. It's coming from our ability to ask ourselves these types of questions. What kind of challenges are you facing off against today? What kind of a way can you utilize the things that you go through on a daily basis that they help you to actually utilize the tools that you have? And so that's where the simplicity of focus starts to come in. The ability to get down with yourself and to be honest with yourself, to allow yourself to have space for who you are inside, and that the reflection can shine outwards where other people can identify and understand each other. So nothing is ever going to be 100% perfect. You're always going to have just that little bit you got to work for, that little place that you got to grow, that little bit that you're going to have to understand that the reflection on the outside comes from the person who's willing to go with inside themselves. And so as we challenge ourselves, ultimately the reflection that shines outwards is going to come from within. It is about that focus that I talk about motivation, meditation, inspiration. It is about those reflections and putting ourselves in a way that the reflection that shines outwards comes from our focus. And so as we answer these types of questions for ourselves, as we get into that place, let's start to dive a little bit deeper. And I want to invite you to subscribe, connect with me, my network, motivation, meditation, inspiration.yoga. I utilize multiple platforms. I have the ability to utilize these things as a blessing, that you will be able to see that you can actually pull yourself up from any situation that you are going on in your day, your week, your month, and your year. Because there's no difference between today, yesterday, next week, next month, next year. Ultimately, what it is the reflection that shines outwards comes from within you. When you identify with yourself, when you get to that place where focus inside of yourself starts to work, then you start to answer the question for yourself. How can I turn these challenges into positivity? How can I utilize it in such a way that I can use my focus to move the things that are not meant out of the way? And so, as we get down with ourselves on a daily basis, as we give ourselves the ability to build from within who we are, the reflection that shines outwards comes from within the person who's willing to go within inside themselves. And so, that means that you can't blame other people for the things that you're going through, the challenges that you have inside in your everyday. You have to put yourself in a way that you become responsible for who you are inside, that the reflection that shines outwards comes from within. So as we get down with ourselves, as we get to that place where what we have inside of ourselves becomes a reflection on the outside, we have to start to understand that there is no challenge too great for the person who's willing to go within themselves. And so if you answer this question for yourself, am I focused? If the answer to that question is no, then we have work to do. And if the answer is yes, then are you writing stuff down? Are you putting yourself in a way that you're utilizing the tools that you have? Is this universe taking you on top of the world? Is it putting you in a place where the reflection that other people are seeing is you achieving your goals, your dreams? Are you writing them down? Are you putting them in front of yourself to where if you want to achieve this specific position, you are actually doing the things required to achieve that position? Are you happy with who you are inside from the goals that you achieve on a daily basis? And so as we start to answer these types of questions for ourselves, then ultimately the reflection going to shine outward from within the person who's willing to go within themselves. And so that means that focus is an absorption. Focus is the ability to go within oneself to find the reflection that shines outwards. So when we start to take it and we untwist what's been twisted, we untwist the things that are stopping us from finding who we are inside. When we're honest with ourselves and we allow ourselves to constantly grow. We allow ourselves to become focused to the point where the reflection that shines outwards comes from within who we are. Then we start to understand that the challenges that we face off against on a daily basis are meant for you. In other words, there's nothing that's put in front of us that's not meant for us to use as a form of focus. It's meant for you to understand that these types of challenges help you to become that reflection on the outside. When you utilize the things that you do have, you're able to become a tool in this universe. This universe has the ability to utilize you. So if you recognize that there is no challenge that you can't overcome, there is no place that you can't be that is not going to be the right place for you to be, and that when you're facing off against things, that it comes down to your level of focus. It comes down to you versus you, not somebody else, not some other place, not some other excuse. I am where I am because I put myself there. Period. And so when we get to that place where what we have inside of ourselves becomes a reflection on the outside, when we understand that who we are inside is what matters, who we focus from the inside out becomes the reflection. When we understand this, when we understand that we have the ability to focus to that level, then things start moving out of the way. People that are meant to be there with you will be there. People that are meant to be next to you will be with you. In other words, when you put yourself in a place where the reflection shines outwards from within ourselves, we find ourselves. And that is a relation with the Most High Creator of this universe in such a way that reflection shines outwards from within who you are. So you have to ask yourself this type of question. Am I putting myself in a place where I'm allowing myself to do that? Am I giving myself the ability to have that within who I am? Am I that kind of reflection on the outside? And so when we start to write stuff down, we start to put things in front of ourselves and to answer the types of questions in this universe. What was I brought here to do? What kind of challenges can I focus through? How can I use what I do have? And how can I utilize it in such a way that the reflection shines outwards from within myself? Are you asking yourself that type of question? Are you putting yourself into that place where you become that tool, where this universe has the ability to utilize you? And I'm going to tell you, it's going to test you. It's going to ask you, is this what you truly want? Is this the person that you truly want to become? And when you answer that question with the ability to become the reflection on the outside, then what you're using is the relation with the Most High Creator of this universe. And so when we utilize this level of understanding, we put ourselves in a place where we are a tool in this universe, where the universe has the ability to utilize you, then the blessings that are meant for you come your way. The blessings of being yourself is a reflection on the outside. So, have you asked yourself that type of question? How can I utilize this universe? Have you asked yourself, how can my focus be used to help other people? How can I look within myself and the reflection shine outwards that you would see that who I am inside is focused? Are you putting yourself in a place and around the people that you want to have around that are putting themselves in the place that are allowing themselves to grow, to be themselves? Are we putting ourselves in positions that we have the ability to be who we are inside? If not, then start writing stuff down, start studying it, start putting yourself in a way that you start to answer those types of questions for yourself. Start to answer the question, How do I become more of who I am inside? How do the reflection on the outside come from identifying and understanding myself to the point where the reflection that shines outwards comes from within who I am? And so when we start to answer these types of questions for ourselves, when we start to get to this place inside of who we are, we start to get down with the challenges that we face off against on a daily basis. We start to answer those types of questions for ourselves. And so as we make it through these types of challenges, as we allow ourselves to get to this place inside of who we are, as we recognize that there's nothing that could stop you from being who you are inside if you are focused, if you're willing to go within yourself to find the answers, the reflection that will shine outwards will come from within you. And so as you start to understand, that is a beautiful thing. Those types of challenges are meant for your growth. That type of place inside of who you are becomes a reflection on the outside when you're willing to be who you are inside. And so as you answer that type of question for yourself, you start to understand that focus is a purpose. Focus is the ability to utilize the process. It's to get it. It's to be able to be there with yourself, to be able to utilize everything in your advantage, to use both positive and negative forces in such a way that you can turn them into positivity, that you can search out the positivity in every situation, that every challenge that we face off against on a daily basis is meant for us. Are you answering that kind of question for yourself? Are you putting yourself in that place where what you have inside of you becomes a reflection on the outside? Are you putting yourself in such a way that what you have inside of you is you? When you answer that question for yourself, when you answer that question for the person that you are inside, the reflection that shines on the outside becomes an understanding of who you are. And that's what people see. They see the level of focus that you have, the ability to go within yourself, to say, this is who I'm going to be. This is the path that I'm going to take. And sometimes, if the path isn't made, you might have to trek on your own path. You might have to go down a path where other people will start to understand that your level of focus is different than theirs. And so when you use that, when you put yourself in that place, then you can become that professional at the things that you want to do. You can be that person inside that the reflection shines outwards from within you. But you have to first tell yourself that I am focused, and that's the thing that I focus on, is the ability to get to that place where the relation with the Most High in this universe is me, where the relation with the Most High in this universe is my level of focus, where the absorption from within oneself is the ability to focus to the point where there is nothing that can stop me from being myself. When you get to that place inside of who you are, the reflection on the outside comes from within yourself, where within being yourself becomes a reflection on the outside. You are in a place of focus. You are in a place of motivation. That is when people start to come to you. That is when people start to ask you questions. That is when you have the ability to start answering the question for yourself. Can you be who you are inside? And if you're answering that question and it is no, then I would recommend you to start to write stuff down. I would recommend that you start asking yourself these types of questions. How can I put myself in that place? How can I give myself the ability to focus to that point? Am I writing stuff down? Am I putting positivity in front of myself? Am I giving myself the ability to go within to become the reflection on the outside? And when we identify with this, it's not about the challenges that go on around us. It's about what goes on within us. When we are in a professional atmosphere, are we in a professional atmosphere in our focus? When we're at home with our families, are we in a place of focus with our families? Are we in a place where we are is important? The challenges that we face off against are important. The things that we go through on a daily basis, we're taking and turning them into positivities. We're taking them and allowing them to become a reflection on the outside. Are we asking ourselves these types of questions? Are we getting down with who we are truly inside? So when you start to answer those questions for yourself, when you start to get to that place inside of who you are, where there is nothing on the outside that's stronger than the person that's willing to go within themselves. When you are answering these questions to this universe, and it's not about if you're perfect or unperfect, it's about you versus you. When you get to that place aside of who you are, where the process is the most important piece, where you are writing stuff down, where you are listening to positivity, where you're putting yourself in a place. I am not a spoon, I am not a fork, I am not here to spoon feed you. I'm here to tell you, when you go within yourself, the reflection that shines outwards from your level of focus is a place inside of you. It is a place inside of who you are. When you find it, everything else is failing and all you have is yourself. Everything else is going against you, and what you have is who you are inside. It comes down to your relation with the Most High. Your relation with this universe is such a way that you can utilize it. And when other people say you're wrong and you're doing everything that's not perfect, and you are still focused and you are still becoming a reflection on the outside, when you understand, if you continue to focus, that what will bleed out is motivation. What will bleed out is that reflection that other people see. What they're going to identify with your level of focus is motivation. So have you asked yourself that question? Have you put yourself in a way that you are in the process of motivation, where it's not about if I am or not motivated, that I am focused on the things that I'm taking on a daily basis, the challenges that I'm facing off daily, I give myself the ability to have as a process, that I enjoy the process of giving myself the ability to absorb that focus. When you get down with yourself to that point, when you put yourself in that place where you start to answer those types of questions to who you are inside, the reflection that shines outwards is what other people will start to see. They'll start to recognize that the tools in this universe start to work for you. When these tools start to work for you, the reflection that shines outwards, this is known as motivation. This is what other people will identify with you as. They will start to see you as a place inside of who you are that is so focused at the task that you're taking on, that what they understand is that you are a reflection of motivation. And that's when the people who are meant to be in your path, the people that are meant to be on your journey, the people that are meant to be next to your side will come. They will recognize that you are a blessing in this universe. They will recognize that the challenges that you face off against come down to your level of focus. Are you capable of going within yourself to answer the questions of who you are? Are you able to go within yourself to write stuff down, to actually gain the full strength of the focus that you have from that absorption and utilization in this universe? Are you giving yourself that place? If you haven't asked yourself these types of questions, this is the day for you to start. This is the day for you to get down, to break down to where there's no emotion to stop you from your level of focus. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying to you, it's you versus you. When you get into yourself to that point where what you have inside of yourself shines outwards as motivation, when you get into that point where what you have inside of yourself is motivation, when you identify with the reflection on the outside that you are motivation, recognize that the reflection on the outside is you. So when you answer those types of questions to this universe, when you give yourself that place to be who you are inside, when the reflection inside of yourself shines outwards, let other people call you motivated. You be on the process of focus. You be on the process of absorbing your focus, getting down to the point where everything that you take is being absorbed. Everything that you're going through on a daily basis is you. Every challenge that you face off against is the person that you are inside. As you start to find that person, as you find that place, as those challenges start to face off against on a daily basis, as you give yourself that ability to be who you are inside, things will move out of the way. People will elevate themselves to recognize the challenges that you face off against are who you are. The things and the way and the things that you go through and the places and the positions that you have, that is you. And so as you see this, as you see where you focus, you will start answering those questions. You will start giving yourself the ability to become that person. You will have the ability to go within who you are to answer the questions in this universe. Who am I? And I answer that question is I am focused. I am focused to the point where the reflection that shines outwards is the process. And if you want to call me from that process motivation, then go ahead and do that. If you want to call me strong from that process, go ahead and do that. What reflects outwards is my level of focus from my absorption inwards, from my path inwards, from the place within yourself. If you ask yourself that type of question, can you be yourself? Are the people that you're around allowing you to be who you are? Are they letting you be the person that you truly are on the inside? And when we are that person, the right people come your way. And the people that are not meant to be there move out of the way. And so, as that starts to happen on a daily basis, as you put yourself in that place where the reflection that comes from within you shines outwards, you ultimately start answering that question. I am focused. And so, what are some other tools that we can utilize? One of those tools is listening to motivational speeches like this, putting yourself in a way that you have others out there as well. You got the people out there, you got like the Gary V's, you got the Les Browns, you got the Tony Robbins, you got all of these motivational speakers that have spent time on their levels of focus to put themselves in a way to change the mindset in this universe in a positive angle. When you recognize that each individual is super important, when each individual is a part of a path and a journey, when you recognize that what is important is that we get to the place where we put it to where the challenges that we face off against, we can overcome. When we get down with who we are inside, we get to that place inside of who we are, where the reflection is shining outwards, where what others identify with you is who you truly are on the inside, then you become a motivation in this world. That is when people see the reflection from within you outwards. That is when people start to call you a motivational speaker. They will start to call you a motivation at your positions, your jobs, your day. You can be a motivational father, mother, sister, brother, companion, just from the mere ability to be yourself. When you're honest with yourself, this is about being who you are and the ability to reflect outwards from what you have inside of who you are. That is important. It is important for us to recognize that there is no challenge that we cannot overcome. It is important for us to recognize that we are blessings in this universe, that the ability to go within who we are is within each of us. The ability to go within who we are is understanding. The ability to go within who we are is your blessing in this universe to reflect outwards. Are you asking yourself, what kind of challenge can you face off against today? Write down the stuff. Put yourself in a place where what comes outwards is you. What is inside of you is you. Where there is no difference on the outside from the inside. Where what shines outwards is that reflection. Where you start to get so focused that the people that are not meant to be there move out of the way. When you start to get so focused that what you have inside of yourself shines outwards as a reflection, where other people see that the process of focus is what you're on, that when you are at your positions, that the people that are most focused achieve the highest level, that when we put ourselves in a place where that process is the most important piece, we give ourselves the ability to enjoy the process of focus. We enjoy the ability to get down with who we are inside. We get down with the person that we are inside. When we get to that place where when we're writing stuff down, it is connecting our day. When we're putting things like the motivation that we are is connecting our day. If it's giving ourselves to connect with special motivational speakers, that we are connecting with that, we're utilizing the tools of this universe in such a way that what we have inside of ourselves is shining outwards. When you answer that type of question, when you give yourself that place inside of who you are, you start to answer to this universe the biggest question: am I who I am inside? And so when you start to see that the tools in this universe are utilizing you, when you give yourself the ability to get to that point where you are that tool in this universe, then you have the ability to be a motivation. Then you have the ability to get within yourself and answer these types of questions to the universe. And that is, can I utilize this as a blessing? Can I utilize these challenges as a reflection outwards? Is these things that are happening to me happening for me? When you start to get to that place where there is nothing that can stop you from being yourself, when you get to that place where what you are is that reflection, when you get to that place where you start to answer those questions, when you get to that place where what you have inside of yourself shines outwards, that is when this universe has the ability to utilize you. That is when this universe has the ability to understand that you are the blessing in this universe. And all of you are blessings. So untwist this thing that's been twisted. Start to get down with yourself and write stuff down. Start to put motivational things in front of yourself. Start to allow yourself to put the proper positivity in your day, in your week, in your ability to go within yourself to start to answer these types of questions to the universe. How can I be that person? How can I overcome those kinds of challenges? And it ain't about who's right or wrong. It's about you versus you. It's about you becoming that kind of motivation from being yourself. When you are the best you, what I mean is that reflection of that focus and knowledge inside of yourself. The reflection that shines outwards will come from within yourself. When you answer those types of questions to this universe has the ability to utilize you as a blessing. It has the ability to understand that you are a blessing in this universe. Are you seeing that within yourself? Are you hearing that you are a special person? This is your purpose, to focus to the point where what you have inside of yourself gives you the ability to be that on the outside. When you have the ability to focus to that point, what shines outwards is a reflection from within who you are. When you start to answer that type of question to this universe, there is no challenge too great for the person who's willing to focus to the point to achieve the goals they want to achieve. And that's why many motivational speakers have said the person who's willing to focus to the point where they want to achieve what they want to achieve will achieve it. And that's because when we are willing to focus to that point, it's going to take somebody who's willing to get to that place, to get to that level of focus, to achieve just that extra step, to get to that extra mile, to get to that extra place, to run that extra second. You know, when we are willing to put ourselves in that place, we're willing to get to that section of ourselves where we answer these types of questions. When we connect with who we are on the inside, the reflection starts to shine outward from within who you are. You start to answer these types of questions for yourself. And so as we start to go within ourselves, that is when we start to realize that the process of focus is the most important piece. The ability to write that stuff down, to put ourselves in where we're listening and speaking out, and the type of people that we have around us are helping us to put ourselves in a place where the positivity is becoming our focus, where we're using the tools and the Most High has the ability to work through you. Next, I'm going to start getting into the fact of going inwards. When we start to recognize that focus is a process, we start to get down with the process inside of ourselves. We start to get to that place where we start to utilize this. We start to breathe inwards, where we start to connect our inwards breath. We start to bring that positivity into ourselves, into our focus. We get to that place where our inwards breath becomes that kind of connection, where we start to heat up this universe and start to get down to the truth that we focus through our breath. That when we breathe, we have the ability to get to a higher level of connection with our breath. We have the ability to recognize that this type of challenges that we face off against on a daily basis come from our breath. When we get to that place where we start to get that level of connection, when we are there, when we are present inside of who we are, we start to go to these positions and we want to be there. When you want to be at the place that you are, and the people that are around you are recognizing this as well, and when you recognize that you need time for yourself too as well, When you recognize that when you give yourself the ability to be who you are on the inside, that others will also be supportive of you being you. When you start to get to that place where the tools in this universe start to test you on a way, they start to ask you this type of question: are you able to go within yourself? When you start to ask yourself that question, when you get to that place of focus where the reflection on the outside starts to bring an inwards absorption, where the focus goes inwards, where the path inwards is a place in the journey into the darkness within yourself, into those chambers inside of who you are, who you might not have been able to achieve, those places inside of yourself where you're able to answer the questions for yourself, where you're able to get into who you are inside. When you start to get to that place inside of yourself where the reflection on the outside starts to understand that your connection with you is your level of focus, then you start to use that as a tool. It starts to put you as a focus inside of the classroom of you. It starts to ask you the question, do you really want this that bad? Do you want to get to that place inside of who you are that bad? Do you want to be with who you are on the inside that bad? And so as we start to get to that place of focus, as we get down with ourselves on the inside, as we start to reflect outwards from within inside ourselves, then we start to answer these types of questions to this universe. We start to ask ourselves, how can we get within ourselves to get that focused? And so when we use the tools, when we allow ourselves to be on a focused mentality, we allow ourselves to recognize that what is coming from within ourselves is becoming a reflection on the outside. When we recognize that those types of challenges within ourselves is a blessing, when we have the ability to get to that place of focus where we can heat up our focus inward, where the energy that's coming into our body is starting to help us to extract and understand the challenges that we face off against on a daily basis, understand who we are on the inside, understand what kind of things that we go through daily. When we recognize this, when we get to this place where the focus becomes a reflection on the outside of our ability to go on to our inwards journey, when the person that we are on the inside is the student, when we become a student in the classroom of us, when we get to that place where our focus puts us with an able mentality, where things have the ability to move out of the way, where emotions move out of the way for you to be the student inside of the classroom, to get to the place where you are focused inward, where the breath has that connection as the student, allowing you to be in the classroom of you. And so as you study the subjects of you, as you get down to the pieces inside of yourself, as you start to understand the knowledge that is extracted from that companion breath, when you give yourself this place, you start to liberate yourself from those emotions. You start to recognize that those challenges that you face off against, they're meant for you. And so that is a blessing, the ability to go within ourselves. That is a place inside of who we are. That is a place of reflection outwards. And so when that knowledge goes within who we are, when that place inside of ourselves becomes an outwards reflection, that is when people start to see your inner light. They start to see you becoming the student inside the classroom of you. They start to recognize that the challenges that you face off against on a daily basis is you. The things that you are going through on a daily basis are blessings. When you go inside of yourself and you find that place inside of who you are, you start to understand that the challenges that you face off against were tailor-made for you. When you start to understand this and you start to break yourself down to the point where there is no difference between yesterday, today, tomorrow, that since you have your breath, you have the knowledge inside of yourself, and you have the ability to learn from the student inside the classroom of you, that is a blessing, absolute blessing, to be ourselves, to be the person that we are on the inside. And so as we become that person, as we become that person inside of who we are, the ultimate reflection on the outside shines in such a way that we liberate ourselves from those emotions. We liberate ourselves from those challenges that we face off against on a daily basis. And this process of getting to know yourself, to extract the knowledge inside of yourself from your level of focus, has a reflection. And a lot of people like to call this reflection meditation. Really, what it is the study of you. It's the practice of you. It's getting to the focus to get to know the person that you are inside. The person and the lessons inside of yourself to be pulled out past the point, to see the multiple viewpoints, to gain the true knowledge from the lessons inside of ourselves, to get to that place where we can become the student and study those challenges that we've faced off against. Study those things that have stopped us from our own internal growth. Study the person that we are inside, that the reflection will shine outwards. And so when we get to this place where the light inside the tunnel of you starts to light up, that path, that knowledge heats up to the point where you start to gain from the lessons, where you start to become the student inside the classroom of you, where you start to understand that everything that you've ever gone through has brought your breath together with the connection of you in this universe in such a way that this universe was a blessing and that you are a blessing within this universe. When you become a blessing to other people, when they can see from the knowledge inside of yourself to help them to liberate themselves from those dark places, when they give themselves the place inside of who they are, that their reflection shines outwards, then we are understanding the knowledge and the study from within oneself. When we master this, we get to this place where we are constantly growing. We are constantly being students inside of our classroom, and we are constantly learning on a daily basis. Then the utilization of that reflection of meditation shows outwards as a light. Then the knowledge inside of yourself starts to become the student inside the classroom. Then the teacher, which is you as well, the teacher inside the classroom of you shines outwards. The ability to come from the darkness to the light is to be able to see this light within ourselves, to use the most high creator in this universe, that the knowledge would elevate ourselves to the place of alpha, beta. This is alpha and beta, meaning alpha for male and beta for female. So when we reach these levels, when we elevate ourselves to this place, when we reach these levels within ourselves, when we get to that place where the reflection shines outwards with the relation with the Most High in this universe, where the knowledge inside of yourself starts to become extracted, that is meaning reaching a level where the light shines outwards from within yourself, from the knowledge from within who you are. This is the study from your level of focus and the knowledge extraction from within oneself with the relation in this universe. This is the breakdown of the reflection outwards. And so when we become this, when we have this level of connection with wholeness within ourselves, we get to that place within who we are, where the knowledge allows the external breath to be the teacher and the internal breath to be that place, and you to be that center breath. When you have that place between both breath in and out, then you start to master oneself. Then you start to understand that everything that's happened for you and with you is you. And so when you see that inside of yourself, when you understand those types of challenges are meant for you, they're meant for your growth. They were tailor-made for you by the creator of this universe to see if you can focus to that point to gain the knowledge and the extraction from within those lessons. Then this universe has the ability to utilize you. Then this universe has the ability to ask you, do you really want it that bad? When that knowledge in those tests are put in front of you and you have the level of a professor, there is no excuse but a thought process and knowledge and the process of working through that knowledge. So recognize this is a blessing to be here. Recognize that these challenges that you have in front of you are meant and tailored specifically for you. Like I said, I'm not a spoon. I'm not a fork. I'm not here to spoon feed you. I'm here to tell you exactly how it is this universe was blessed for you being here. This universe is a place that's special because you're here. When you take that time to give yourself the ability to use the tools that you have, then you have the ability to become that blessing in this universe. And that is the purpose of the relation with the Most High, is that we can become that we can have that place, that there was a special place meant for you and I to gain that level of knowledge within ourselves, and to have that place with that relation with this universe in such a way that we can reach that level of elevation to where we can see down the mountains and the knowledge within ourselves. They don't have the ability to stop us from being who we are on the inside. As we start to connect the knowledge and the focus, and we recognize that we are the classroom, that center breath, that whole place, to be the student, the teacher inside the classroom, gives you the ability to be centered with the knowledge and the focus within yourself. When those two become cradled within yourself, when they have a place to grow within you, when they have the ability to be used as tools and you are using the tool of you properly, when you are using the tool of who you are on the inside, that reflection that will shine outwards from within you has a place that calls you discipline. It calls you a person who is centered within themselves. It calls you a person who has that level of discipline, that focus and knowledge is being utilized from your breath. When you have that place within yourself where you are that person, when you have that reflection on the outside from within who you are, then the utilization in this universe has the ability to go within you. And so when we start to answer those types of questions, then we recognize that the blessing of you is there. The blessing of who you are on the inside is you. So are you asking yourself that question? Am I the discipline in this universe? Am I the person who is responsible for myself and my knowledge and my focus? And when you put yourself in that place where you are in center with who you are, where your left and your right center of your breath is within you, you start to answer these types of questions to this universe to the point where the reflection inside of you shines outwards. As you start to connect and you become that discipline, as the things that are happening around you are happening for you and they're helping you to grow, you will start to become a place of knowledge and focus. And as you become that kind of light in this universe, people will start to come to you. They will start to ask you questions. They will ask you, can you lift this from me? And when you tell them that it is within themselves that the reflection shines outwards, when they liberate themselves and start to understand this, when they free themselves from being themselves, then the beauty in this universe starts to work. Then the purpose of this being here, this reflection outwards from within ourselves, becomes an understanding. When the within ourselves becomes a reflection outwards, we start to answer that type of question. The Most High Creator of this universe created us when our knowledge and our focus is connected inside of who we are. That light that shines outwards would be like a fire. It would be a place within you that level of discipline is you. That place that you are, those things that you write, those things that you speak, they are you. And so when you see that within yourself, when you get to that place within who you are, where what you have inside of yourself shines outwards, this universe has the ability to utilize you as a blessing. And so when you start to become that kind of blessing, to the point where it takes people's breath away to see that you are so disciplined at being yourself, and then they start to understand that what kind of challenges you face off against on a daily basis is because they were meant for you. And when you take joy in those challenges, where that connection of that focus and that knowledge is cradled center inside of you, where you are that, where that reflection that shines outwards is creating universal ripples That knowledge within yourself shines outwards from within who you are. When you take on the tasks in this universe and you can understand this, when you take on the tasks in this universe and it is you, when you see that this is the place where you are meant to be, that is a reflection outwards. That is a place within ourselves. That is a challenge that we can overcome. Disciplining ourselves to be who we are on the inside is a game on. Disciplining ourselves so that who it is on the inside is a centering of oneself with their knowledge and their focus in this universe where we have the ability to use our whole self, where we have the ability to go within who we are. We have the ability to become a beautiful thing for this universe to see. And you all have that within yourselves. If you have knowledge and focus, you can take yourself from the darkness to the liberation of the light. If you chase after the positivity in this universe, if you put yourself in a way that you utilize what you have inside of who you are you taking on these tasks? Are you putting yourself in this way? Are you giving yourself this ability to go within who you are? And so when we start to answer those questions for ourselves, when we start to answer those questions for who we are on the inside, then what happens is that the reflection on the outside comes from within who we are. When we become blessings in this universe, where other people become understanding that that level of discipline that you have, that level that you have within yourself shines outwards, that what you have inside of yourself is much more than what ultimately shines outwards from within you is a reflection. And that is the reflection that they will call inspiration. Those are the ripples that you can leave from being yourself. When you are yourself and you are the reflection outwards, you have the ability to help other people. You have the ability to be a blessing in this universe. You have the ability to utilize the things that you have inside of yourself, and that is a blessing. That is a ability to utilize that. And when you leave blessings for people, when you leave them in such a way that they understand that there's something special about you, it puts a fire inside of them to find who they are on the inside. When we liberate ourselves, we give ourselves the ability to have that kind of freedom. We give ourselves the ability to utilize the tasks and the goals that we face off against one at a time, where our knowledge and our focus is a part of that specific thing that we're going through. We have the ability to go within who we are. And so when you answer those questions to this universe, when you give yourself that ability to be who you are inside, the blessings in this universe come to you and they test you. They ask you, is this what you really want? And when the answer comes back as yes, this is really what I want. This is really who I am on the inside. This is really the type of challenges that I'm willing to take on a daily basis. When you answer with that kind of a question, where the reflection on the outside comes from within who you are, the beauty in this universe that you are, from your knowledge and your focus and your discipline, has the ability for this universe to utilize you. When you are utilized and other people are able to see that you are helping them to overcome their own challenges, the tools in this universe will come to you. They will come to you in such a way that they will start to ask you questions. They will start to see that who you are inside has a purpose. That you are inside is that thing. You were meant for that position. You were meant for that goal. You were meant for that person who you are on the inside. And so when we get to that place inside of ourselves, when we get to that place where the whole entire being is connected from our levels of focus and our knowledge, when we get to that place where you are that purpose, then ultimately what you have inside is a reflection of discipline. And when you hit that discipline at that center intersection, and other people start to call you inspiration, you call yourself disciplined, and you utilize that. When you utilize that whole being and you utilize that whole being in such a way that that purpose shines outwards from within yourself, then this universe has the ability to utilize you. And there are a lot of stories of people who have become that kind of an inspiration. And so that is those ripples that we look at them for their level of discipline. When we see those grand masters in anything in this world, we see those people that are on top of anything in this world. We see those people who have overcome any challenge in this world. Ultimately, it came down to their level of focus. It was how bad did they truly want it. Were they willing to go to that point where the reflections shine outwards from within who they are? Did they gain their knowledge and their focus to overcome every single challenge that was put in front of them? Did those things move out of the way because they were focused and the knowledge connection within themselves was that place? So as we get to that place inside of who we are, as we get to that ability to go within ourselves, as we get to the place of reflection on the outside where we are that discipline, as we get to that place where what we have inside of ourselves shines outwards, then we ultimately start answering these questions for ourselves. We start to become the answers to this world. We start to become the answers in this world. We start to have the answers to help other people. When your knowledge and your focus and your discipline hit that place where you are that, when that connection within this world creates universal ripples, then you become a reflection to this universe of inspiration, which means that using your knowledge and your focus inside of yourself shines outwards from within who you are, which means that you can liberate yourself. So if you look like you're in a dark place in life, realize that is just a part of the process of the journey. Start to use these things. Start to use them in such a way that you can get yourself focused. Start to put things in front of yourself one at a time, one challenge at a time, one ability to go within yourself to get to that place where what you are is who you are on the inside. That will answer all the questions on the outside for you within you. The only person within you is the reflection on the outside, where the knowledge and the focus within oneself becomes an understanding of the reflection of the utilization in this universe of you. Utilization of you in this universe is a blessing. Utilization of you in this universe is a tool. As a tool in this universe, you are the purpose. And so you have those types of challenges, you have those types of things. And so when you ask yourself that kind of question, what is it going to take for me to get disciplined so that I can be myself? Then ultimately, the reflection outwards will start to come out as inspiration. You will start to see inspirational people come your way. You will start to put yourself in inspirational places. And when you start to get on your own grind, when it's you versus you, and the light starts to head towards you, and you start to head towards those positivities, and you start to head towards those positive places, you can overcome many challenges in this universe. There is nothing that has the ability to stop the one that's willing to go within themselves to find the light to shine outwards. That is the mastery of the study of oneself. That is what we call meditation. When we put the whole being in connection with that breath, we become an inspiration in this universe in such a way that the universe has the ability to utilize the study of the knowledge that you have inside of yourself. And each of you are so special. Each of you has special lights inside of you. Each of you have special places inside of yourself. Each of you is a reflection on the outside. When you give yourself that ability to go within yourself to find that blessing in this universe that you are, then this universe can utilize you as the ripples. It can utilize you as a place. It can utilize you as a blessing in this universe in such a way that there is no challenge that you cannot overcome. And so, what are we looking for other than within ourselves? So let's start to utilize ourselves as that lesson. Let's utilize ourselves as that classroom. Let's utilize ourselves as that reflection outwards. And so when we use the tools that we have inside of ourselves, then ultimately the reflection that shines outward will come from within you. When you cradle that knowledge and that focus within yourself, and it becomes your whole being, when the whole being and that centers in you, when that discipline of you comes outwards, that other people see that you are you, when you become in take ownership for you, when you take ownership for your challenges, you become a reflection on the outside. When you become a reflection on the outside, you bring inspiration to this universe. And that is our purpose. That is a purpose of being a blessing in this universe, is that this universe meant you and those challenges that you go through on a daily basis for you. It meant you to be able to be that person to overcome those challenges. It meant for you to connect with that knowledge inside of yourself to become that best at anything that you take on. You deserve that. You deserve to be that person on the outside from the reflection of the inside of you. So recognize that you are a blessing. Recognize that you are who you are on the inside. Recognize that those challenges that you face off against were tailor made for you. That they are a blessing to be able to take on those challenges. That they are a blessing to be put in front of you. That they are a blessing in a daily basis to be who you are on the inside. This is a purpose to be here on a daily. When you see that within yourself, when those lessons, those classrooms, those things that you did well become who you are and you become honest with yourself on the outside, then ultimately there is nothing stopping you from being who you are. You are blessings. You are a reflection on the outside of who you are on the inside. So are you answering those types of questions to this universe? Are you putting yourself in this place? Are you taking this purpose to become a reflection on the outside? Answer that question for yourself. Put yourself in that place. Make sure that you have time for you to pay yourself first so that your focus and your knowledge have a place of discipline to be within who you are. When you become that kind of blessing, when you become that kind of reflection, when you become that place and that strength is coming from within who you are, the reflection on the outside comes down to who you are on the inside. And that is a beautiful thing, because you are all beautiful from the knowledge and focus that you have within yourself to cradle yourself where this universe has the ability to use the whole you. When you use the whole you, that's when this universe sees something special within you. And so that is what we have inside of ourselves. Each individual is a light in this universe. And when we chase after that positivity, when we put ourselves in a way where the reflection that shines outwards is coming from within who we are, when we give ourselves that place to become that type of person in this universe, we utilize ourselves to the point where what we have inside of ourselves is a reflection outwards. What a beautiful thing that is. What a beautiful place that is. What a beautiful ability that is for you to understand that you are a blessing in this universe, that you have the ability to go within yourselves to find the answers to your own questions, to find the place inside of yourself as a reflection outwards. And so as we find that place inside of who we are, we ultimately find that connection with who we are on the inside. And so that is a reflection outwards from within who you are. You are all blessings in this universe when you can discipline yourself to the point where what you have inside of who you are radiates outwards. When what you have inside of yourself becomes a reflection on the outside, the light, the fire that makes you who you are on the inside shines outwards. So I want you to see that reflection outwards as inspiration. I want you to see that reflection outwards as a understanding that the challenges that you face off against on a daily basis were tailor-made for you. And when you take ownership for that, you take ownership for who you are on the inside, there is no challenge too great for the one. And that is where the light comes from. The light in this universe is to be able to take ourselves from the darkness to the light and have absolute clarity that this purpose and this path that we have is placed in front of ourselves for that purpose, that you are a special blessing in this universe. And I want you to recognize that within all of yourselves, that you have those blessings and that you are that place in this universe, that light inside of you would shine outwards and liberate this world from you being here. I want you all to see that blessing that you are on the inside. As always, blessings, 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 and namaste.